Hey everybody, Adam here. Before we start this episode, I just want you all to know that the episode you are hearing is incomplete. We had a technical problem and only about 2/3 of the episode got recorded, but the content is so good to us that we decided to keep it. So just letting you know that it ends abruptly. And I apologize on behalf of the entire Cinemadness podcast that this happened. But I hope you stay with us and join us for the next episode, which hopefully will be complete. Okay, well, here we go.
Ladies, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Please be advised that this movie has no nudity.
I'm out.
Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
Yeah. I just have to wee-wee.
And we're back. Just like the Five Musketeers.
What the hell am I looking at?
A country where culture means pornography and slasher films.
If you had these boobs, you'd be obsessed with them too.
Very exciting, big event. Everybody's excited, huh?
We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends.
We're Cinemadness podcast.
It's ridiculous.
So it's basically Jet Jaguar.
It's Jack Jaguar.
Jack Jaguar. Jack Jaguar. Jack. Get jacked. Jack.
Time for Jack Jaguar. That was the wrong one.
Jack Jaguar, bitch. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we got that out of our system, right?
All right.
I can't get the damn Godzilla march out of my head. It's constantly.
I don't think it's that cool or scary. It sounds like an Oompa Loompa march.
It's not scary. It's jaunty.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a jaunty little tune.
Exactly.
Get off of
That's Peter and the Wolf.
Yeah, it's not Peter and the Wolf. But
I know it's so.
Peter Griffin and the Wolf. Well, good. That's a great intro, by the way.
Oh man!
Welcome to Cinemadness. My name is Adam. I am here with Roman. Oh, Jesus Christ. And Allison.
Hello.
Hello, Allison.
Hello.
We are leaving the Showa era of Godzilla, and we are moving into Millennium. I was trying to do Robbie Williams.
Yeah,
there. It didn't.
Yeah, we can start directing our fate.
It didn't work. So,
no.
We are going to be covering my pick as we continue on our Godzilla journey. We are going to be doing the 50th anniversary with Godzilla Final Wars.
We apologize for this interruption, but it seems that an alien invasion has started to take place, among other monsters coming out of the woodwork to cause havoc. We have our man Roman on the street with a expert in the realm of kaiju and perhaps aliens. Roman, can you hear us? Are you there?
I am Roman from the Cinemadness podcast, and I'm joined with Gabriel. Gabriel, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Excellent. So today we're going to be talking about Godzilla Final Wars. I believe it came out in 2004. Is that correct?
Yep. That's about accurate.
Okay. So Gabriel.
Yep.
How old were you in 2004, sir?
Almost born, but in about a little bit more than a few years, I was born.
Okay.
So we're getting there.
Repeat that one more time.
So we're getting there.
Okay. Excellent. No problem. So, what are your initial thoughts on Godzilla Final Wars?
One of my favorite movies, actually.
So, why is that?
The beginning part shows my favorite theme song, my favorite everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts off with Godzilla, actually.
Okay. All right. It starts off with Godzilla, actually. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, what makes this film so special is all the characters that show up in it. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So, is there any character that is displayed in the film? So when I say characters, I mean the different kaijus or monsters. So can you just give the audience maybe some of your favorite kaijus that are featured in this one, and why?
Yeah. One of the ones is Kamatsu-kan, a giant spider.
Ooh, okay. So why would that be one of your favorite ones?
Its agility is pretty good.
Does it go to the gym a lot?
No, but I would believe that it digs underground doing push-ups without anyone looking.
So it just doesn't hang out on the internet a lot?
Yeah, I agree with you.
A lot of websites for the giant spider?
And no, that would kind of sound weird if it was on the internet. That would sound weird because it's just like a giant spider doing push-ups.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that would be weird. Are there any other favorite kaijus that are featured in this one?
Hirodora. Hirodora is a giant lobster. The only reason he's one of my favorite characters is that would mean a lot of meat that I would eat.
Okay, so you're a big fan of seafood, huh?
Yeah. Not seafood exactly. It's just lobsters have meat inside it.
Okay.
If you get past the tart's shell, then there's actually meat inside it.
Okay. All right. Would there be any additional favorite kaijus? Because I hear that there's a bunch of kaijus that are shown in this one. Pretty much every kaiju, essentially, that has shown up in the original films up to that point.
Probably Anguirus.
Anguirus, is that the one that has the face that kind of looks like that has like fans on the side of it? Is that Anguirus?
Yeah, but the more prospectively you would well two reasons that you would say he is just a giant armadillo with spikes on his head and back, or you could explain it that it's just a giant armadillo with spikes on a spike, was a mix between a
Ankylosaurus?
Well, I mean, it's originated from an Ankylosaurus, but it's a mix between an alligator, a dragon. An alligator and a dragon.
Okay, alligator and dragon. So that would be your third favorite.
Yeah, there's. Well, I mean, if actually that did happen, and my last favorite, which is in the first place, is Monster X / Ghidorah.
Okay, excellent. Now Ghidorah, that's a 3-headed dragon-like monster, correct, kaiju?
Yep.
Okay, so for the fans at home, can you briefly explain what happens? What happens in Godzilla Final Wars?
So it starts out that the military is fighting Godzilla in the Arctic. They evacuated everything, every animal, everything. So it's just like an empty battleground. So as they're fighting, the commander ask them to fire the maser cannon. And
maser cannon or laser cannon?
Maser.
Okay.
It's like a gigantic version of a laser.
Okay, so like a master laser.
Yeah. It's kind of like when Shin Godzilla blows his atomic breath. It's just like a giant laser beam, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. So once that happens, the main character shoots out the maser beam and to the ground, and it hits the mountain and reflects back into the ground. So it creates like an earthquake for Godzilla, and he falls down. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. All right, and that's the beginning of the film. So, where do all the other kaijus come in?
It's after they defeat the giant lobster. They witness a giant UFO abduct all of the creatures, and then they head over to the main like base of the story, and like later in the story they once they actually turn evil, they pronounce that we holded the Kaijus captive.
Okay. Excellent. So the Godzilla that's featured in this film, Final Wars, what makes this one special from the other Godzillas that you've seen in the previous Godzilla films?
This one has a lot more Easter eggs in it. It has a lot more agility, and it's like only 0% clumsy.
Wow, I'm jealous of that Godzilla.
Sure you are.
Well, yes, I am. Okay. All right. Excellent. So, would you recommend that someone sees this film? And if so, why?
I don't know.
You gotta do better than that, sir.
What? It's the best I can do.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So, this Godzilla that's featured in Godzilla Final Wars, where would you say it ranks amongst all the Godzillas that's been featured in the Godzilla films? Top 10, top 5, top 20?
Top 5.
Really? Okay. All right. Excellent. Why?
It's because when Godzilla is fighting Gigan, Gigan, Gigan fires like a string, like a boomerang that has a string on it, and it wraps around his neck, both of his hands, and so Godzilla still has his feet, so he jumps up and kind of hooks off the thing. So what he does is he holds them and just like Hulk smashes, kind of like how Hulk smashes Loki, like he puts him to his side, he puts that, and then he does his atomic breath, and then destroys Gigan's head.
Okay, excellent. Well, Gabriel, so one of your favorite movies is Godzilla Final Wars. So, out of 5 Godzillas, what would you rank this? All 5, or would you say one Godzilla? 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. How many Godzillas would you give this film?
4.
4 Godzillas, okay. Awesome. Well, Gabriel, thank you very much, sir.
The Millennium Era, released in 2004, directed by Ruhel Kitamura. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Ruhel.
yeah.
Good old
No,
Ruhel.
actually, he's actually pretty well known director.
Yes.
Yeah, he's done some really cool stuff, and his stuff that he's done has a unique style, but it's kind of all completely just going for it.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
My sources are IMDb, Wikipedia, and the episode of What Happened by Matt McMuscles on YouTube, because he did an entire thing on Final Wars, and it was really good. So
wow,
I wanted to
we're really up in our game. We're actually citing our sources.
I always cite my sources.
Yeah, I see it over there. I see it over there. I see it over there. I cite them all the time.
Before we get into the actual movie itself, the soundtrack was a pretty good one. Featured Sum 41, Felix the House Cat, Zebrahead, Stereolab, The Chemical Brothers, and Hoobastank.
Pretty much, if you got high and skateboarded, your soundtrack is basically in this movie.
Yeah. Like I said, Toho wanted to celebrate Godzilla's 50th anniversary, so they wanted to make this movie huge. They wanted to make it a complete showstopper.
So basically, if you're a fan of Royal Rumble, where all the guys get into the ring, 30 of them, and they fight together, fight each other, and then one comes out victorious at the end, that's basically this movie, except replace 30 and 40-year-old guys who are greased up and in Speedos with, animatronics and
rubber suits.
Yeah, rubber suits.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, yeah.
Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Did your mind get wandering with oiled up 4-year-olds and Speedos? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kitamura wanted this not to just be a fitting end to the era, but also to make something that would bring in new fans as well as appease the old ones. This movie went through many scripts, and Toho rejected them all.
And this is the one that made it?
Toho recruited the writer of the last few movies in the Millennium Era, as well as producer Shogo Tomiyama, whose script was considered too tame and too retro for this movie.
Jeez.
Yeah. And Kitamura himself passed on those scripts. He wanted more of everything. More plots, more monsters, more characters, and Toho agreed. So Kitamura brought in his co-writing partner Isaru Kiriyama to give it more of a grand and global scale. Mm-hmm. And to give it more a mainstream feel. So they made the entire planet the battleground.
Yes, and how they did it was very interesting.
I thought it was cool. Making it international meant getting actors from all over the world, and using with an inflated budget of 1.9 billion yen, which was roughly $20 million. And if you know anything about Toho, they're notoriously cheap.
Oh yeah.
So this was
Godzilla Minus One was made for $12 million.
This was a huge gamble for Toho. So the best part about pre-production was Kitamura and Toho gathered up all of the kaiju that they had created, and they basically played with them on a table to figure out who would fight who at what points at what time in the movie. Could you imagine that? Your son would work for Toho if he knew this.
Well, funny story, speaking of wrestling, the 1980s tag team, the Rockers, that's actually how they decided on their moves, is they were playing with action figures and saying, oh yeah, we could do something like this. Yeah, so just a heads up for all you Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michael fans out there.
A new and wholly original design for Godzilla was to make him spikier and more menacing looking than before, which Toho passed on, but they used it later in Shin Godzilla. Which, if you haven't seen Shin Godzilla, that is a hell of a movie.
That almost was my choice.
It's hard to find. You have to actually buy it.
No, I was going to buy it and then have you guys over for a watch party.
Yeah, Shin Godzilla he's violent.
What?
A watch party.
Yeah, you can come over anytime you want.
Yoji Shinkawa. Sorry about these names, everyone. Was brought on to design the ships and characters.
You're doing better than I would, bud.
With him being the art director for Hideo Kojima and the Metal Gear Solid games, the film has a Metal Gear look to it.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like Metal Gear. It looks like Death Stranding. It looks like Hideo Kojima stuff. They actually called this the Metal Gear Godzilla movie.
That's about accurate.
They ultimately went with a design that had elements from every era, kind of fitting in for a final movie in Godzilla's.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Including Goji's little cat ears. He had cat ears in that movie. Goji, that's what I call him.
You're adorable.
Yeah. Sony's Kyle Cooper designed the opening credits sequence that encompassed 50 years of Godzilla in the same fashion he did with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man intros.
I don't think you pronounced his name correct.
Kyle Coupe?
No, you're doing such a good job with all the really tough ones, so I thought I'd bust your chops with the really easy one.
With it already being the longest film in the franchise, they only used about 2/3 of what they had shot. As Kitamura wanted to throw everything he could at the audience. For example, there was a much longer sequence involving the two punks in USA's Zilla, instead of the admittedly comical quick fight that ensued. The movie's still very divisive among fans, as kaiju fights were so quick and Godzilla was way overpowered for each fight. None of the monsters ever had a chance. He came up and punched him once and that was it.
Well, because he was the star. He's basically...
Right, and they put too many in there.
again, going back to the wrestling thing, he's the Hulk Hogan, and everybody else is just mincemeat. You paid your ticket back in the 80s to see Hulk Hogan win.
Yeah, but another reason why the fights were so fast was that I can't ever remember his name.
Kyle Cooper.
Kitamura loved making the slow motion motorcycle fights so much that he wanted to cut the monsters short so he could do those. Because this was like a kaiju Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
This movie was a disappointment to most of the fans and the box office, and only making $12 million. Not even making the budget back, and a lot of the blame might be that the movie was released against Disney's The Incredibles and Miyazaki's Howl's Moving Castle. Two juggernauts of 2004. Final Wars marked the end of the guys in suits for kaiju movies, and Toho even demolished the miniature sets that they've used since the 60s. Aww. And then everything went to CGI.
There's some kid that has a really awesome play set somewhere.
And that's my overview of Final Wars. I picked this movie because I remember the first time I watched it, I must have been really high because I thought it was the greatest Godzilla movie I've ever seen. And going back and watching it, it's just god-awful.
It's
too fast.
Number one, my son, and we may slice him in, he loves this film.
I mean, it's his attention span.
Oh, yeah. And also, it reminds me of that Key and Peele sketch with Gremlins 2 when they're developing it. It's like, you want to have a female gremlin. It's in the movie. Like, I have a feeling that's what
one made out of electricity.
Yeah, that's in the movie. Hulk Hogan. Cultural icon Hulk Hogan. He's in the movie. Yeah, I have a feeling that's what they did with this one. It's like, you want to have Anguirra? He's in the movie. Yeah. You want to have Zilla? He's in the movie. You want to have aliens? They're in the movie. You want to have aliens that are also in a boy band? They're in the movie. You want to have a white guy who's an MMA fighter who punches a woman several times? He's in the movie. Literally.
And can't act?
Oh, man. But he has a good look.
Yeah, he looks like a general.
Yeah, he looks like an awesome badass. But yeah.
That's one of the things in my notes is that he was so bad at acting that...
he makes Vin Diesel look like a Shakespearean actor.
Yeah, they just let him sit there in his chair for a while.
I kept on thinking of the line from... Ed Wood is like, what? We had to give the speaking lines to somebody.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh boy, oof, oh man. It's like, wow, he can't you give the lines to somebody else? No.
Yeah. Final Wars is a fun movie to put on in the background, but it's not a fun movie to just sit down and watch.
It's
or watch when you're high. Apparently,
it's straight up cotton candy.
It is. It's the Michael Bay of Godzilla movies.
Yeah. It's start to finish. It's everything that you liked. And what was interesting is they purposely chose the monsters for Godzilla fight in this battle royale. Excuse me. Monsters chose to fight in this battle royale were all chose from the, what's your favorite era?
Showa era.
Showa era.
My favorite era is the Millennium era, but I know what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to feed that, give you one more chance to do it.
I almost picked Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla or Godzilla vs. Destroya from the Millennium eras. Yeah. Those are so good. Mm-hmm. Especially Godzilla vs. Destroya because Godzilla almost dies. Oh, he does. He explodes.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting movie. But
man,
we're not on that.
Yeah, there are some really tough ones that almost made it for me. It's like, oh man, yeah. I almost wanted to make you guys suffer through one of the really cheesy ones.
Oh man, I would have sat through Destroy All Monsters. Love that movie.
Boy,
there was more cheesy ones than this movie.
Oh yeah.
Great. Yeah. Destroy All Monsters basically is a kid's fantasy. It has to do with the Kaiju theme park. And you find out at the end that it was just a kid fantasizing about it.
It's got Jack Jaguar in it.
No.
Jack Jaguar.
So what do you guys? What did you guys think of Final Wars, Roman?
It's a guilty pleasure of mine. It is stupid fun. Just forget everything that you want to see. The complete antithesis to what we just talked about last time, the 1954 Godzilla, where it's a deep poetry. No, this isn't poetry. This is a Weird Al Yankovic pop song where it's like, yeah, just don't digest it, just enjoy it.
It's like 90s extreme version.
Oh my goodness, yeah, extreme.
But it did have a really good opening sequence because they did the 50th anniversary intro of the original, and
well, I mean, it was
then it went off the rails.
Yeah, it was again. It was. I keep on going to wrestling, and I'm sorry for that, but it's like watching old timer wrestlers coming back, and it's like honky tonk man, yes. Even though he's like 60 and his hair dye is dripping on his chin as he sweats.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, oh my goodness. But
is that a real person?
Honky tonk man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's a Elvis impersonator wrestler. Yeah. When you say it out loud, it really sounds horrible. And he was actually really good. He was Intercontinental Champion for like 3 years.
Yeah, he was a great wrestler in the 70s and 80s.
Good for him.
Yeah.
What about you, Allison? What did you think of this movie?
This movie was rough. My notes are opening credits are badass.
Yeah.
That was about where it ended for me.
So you watch it and you're like, okay, I can get into this. And
I was really excited. I was like, this is really cool. I stopped and I was like, wait a minute, Sum 41. No. And then I like had to like look it up and I'm like, oh, like this is awesome. I didn't know that. Like that's cool. And it was just like on like drugs. Like the opening scene was on drugs. Like it was just nonstop.
Yeah,
in your
it's
face
fast.
and cool.
So like Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Oh, you got beef.
I put Godzilla melting pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I put he looks less chunky and fat. He looks more fit.
Yes. He was good for he was swole for this
old,
one.
you know.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
trying to make it a 70s.
Yeah.
He had Ozempic face.
Yes, kind of like Sylvester Stallone trying to like get back into like Rocky shape.
Okay,
like he's
bullet
old.
to the
but-
head Sylvester Stallone, where it's
Yeah.
like, wow, you look good, man.
but I wanted to recognize that
Can't walk
because
for
he
shit,
was
but you look
less
good.
fat and he was more svelte.
Felt.
And then I just have other monsters. And then like I recognized 2 of those monsters, but I didn't recognize a lot of them. And I just, now that you're saying it's like wrestling, it is. Like there was just too much going on for me.
Well, like for what it is, like it's completely campy. Like they kind of have an X-Men type characters.
Well, yeah, the mutants. They called them mutants.
Right.
Yeah, they're basically the X-Men. So it's Godzilla versus X-Men.
But they're also like the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you had the aliens, the Zillions.
Yes.
Which wow, that's what we went with. That's what we're going with, guys.
I like Mothra, but the only reason I like Mothra is because you took me to a Riff Tracks movie with Godzilla and Mothra. Was it just Mothra?
It was Mothra.
Godzilla wasn't in it. It was just Mothra.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mothra's cool.
I love Mothra.
So then I was like, oh, Mothra shows up. Hey, girl, hey.
And she was great in the second Godzilla movie, the second legendary Godzilla movie, the King of the Monsters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where she basically saved the world.
Yeah, and her wingspan and everything.
Yeah,
she's kind of badass. So I was excited to see her. Oh, but then I also have white guy Don Fry.
Yep.
Yeah. Don Fry. Yes.
Who was an MMA fighter.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. He didn't belong there.
He did not.
Okay.
They wanted a big American guy to play the general.
To bring in people.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Guys, if you're drinking every time Roman says wrestling, guess what, guys? Chug.
Shit.
Oh, yeah, because Don Fry
Shawara.
was part of the All Japan Wrestling. He was part of the Japanese wrestling division along with MMA.
Japanese wrestling is crazy.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
What is the difference between Japanese wrestling?
It's all show, all flying around, and
I mean,
really
we have
quick-
a lot of show.
quick- no, really.
no, I mean
quick,
like they're
twitch.
doing their shows, like they're all flashy with their moves, and
Yeah, it's
kind of like Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah, well, that's Luchador.
He's Luchador, yeah, but it's still a high flying.
Oh yeah,
No matter how big
really
you are.
quick. Even the big guys are doing quick moves, like quick hits, and they're very agile. So even like the 400-pounders is not just a fat guy in a ring smushing people.
Like sumo, you mean?
No, they're moving. They're agile. Sorry, excuse me.
Sumo's pretty agile.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, John Tenta, who was known as the Earthquake here in the United States,
he did some work in All Japan, and the guy who was wrestling refused to make it a fake wrestling, was actually trying to hit him for real. And John Tenta put him down. It's an awesome thing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Mick Foley and Terry Funk were the most popular, was in the Japan hardcore wrestling.
You're listening to a wrestling podcast.
I don't even like wrestling.
Really? You sound like you do.
You know a lot about wrestling.
I did when I was a kid, and then I grew up. We just lost our wrestling fans.
You just don't like it. That's all.
No, I keep saying I grew out of it, and I did.
Yeah, grew out of it sounds better than growing up.
But in my head, it sounds pedantic.
You just don't like it.
I binge watched like every Royal Rumble on Peacock because I had to get Peacock so I could watch an NFL playoff game.
Yeah.
Assholes. Sorry, folks.
I did watch Dark Side of the Ring. That show was fantastic.
Oh, it's outstanding. But
even if you don't even like wrestling, it's a good show.
So what character in Dark Side of the Ring do you think would be in Final Wars?
What do you mean, what character?
I'm trying to shamelessly bring it back to the subject.
You keep bringing up wrestling.
Who's in Dark Side of the Moon Ring?
Dark Side of the Ring is a docu-series
right.
on all the bad.
Music.
It's all the bad stuff that happened within the wrestling, the world of wrestling.
Right. So who's in it?
Who's not in it?
Some guys that you've heard of, some guys you haven't heard.
Well, I haven't heard of a lot of them.
Yeah. So pretty much nobody.
So the question is, who would be in this movie?
No,
he was just trying to.
No, I get it, but you can still.
Yeah, so replace Don Fry with Ric Flair. That would have been awesome.
Woo!
Yeah,
he does the woo.
He does the woo.
I know Roman Reigns too.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Sorry.
I bet you would. He's a good-looking, annoyingly good-looking guy.
He is.
Yes.
My bad.
Sorry.
And Roman the Killer from Scream 3.
You know, can we get off the name Roman? Roman is a very strong and awesome name. Whoever has the name Roman is probably an
Romans killed
good-looking
Jesus
guy.
And the villain can be, what's his name? The head guy.
Pontius Pilate. Huh?
The head guy.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon.
Yes, that guy. Especially more recently with what he's done.
Yeah.
I like the whole boy band aspect, getting back to the Final Wars. Like, I liked how they were bringing up things that were hot during that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Like X, the character X, actually I really liked.
Yeah.
Like, he reminded me so very much of Billy Zane's character in
Demon Knight.
Demon Knight.
Yeah.
Where he's just fun, completely balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's just fun. Like, you could tell that actor was having fun playing that character.
Yeah, a lot of the Japanese people looked like they were having a good time. Like the mutants and the Zillas.
Mm-hmm.
Even Don Fry looked like he was having fun.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He gets to punch people in the face. As hard as you can.
Gets to punch people in the face. And the whole American Zilla thing, they just wanted to see, they wanted to see if, because Universal had the rights, or was it Warner Brothers? It was Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers had the rights to that image. And they actually had to ask Warner Brothers for the rights to use the American Zilla, which originally had to use Toho's permission to actually make it. So, but they're like, yeah, you can use them. That's fine. But they're like, we're going to kill them. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Well, what's funny is that's the only character that CGI.
Yep,
in the
that's
whole
the
thing.
only. Yeah, and he looks terrible on purpose.
Well, yeah, and what they did is they actually used.
They made him a joke.
They made a toy. They had a toy to be the model as opposed to making something. They literally just took a toy and said, "Scan it.
Yep.
Screw it. We'll figure it out from here." So there you go. And he lasted all 2 seconds.
You know, as he should.
Well,
just like Bambi vs. Godzilla.
Yeah, just everything about this film.
What?
You've never seen Bambi meets Godzilla?
Okay, well, who made that movie?
It was a tiny little animated short that used to appear in front of movies in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
And it was a black and white cartoon of Bambi eating grass or something, and then gets squashed by a foot.
Oh my god.
And that's it.
That's horrible. Was it Bambi or Bambi's mom?
It was Bambi.
Oh, okay.
That's the mother of all movies right there.
The Moab. Moab.
Yeah. Well, what I always think is hilarious how they decided to make this happen is they decided to have Godzilla basically chase an alien spaceship around the world.
Yep. And the aliens would they were just like, we want that one.
Yes. Here, you fight that guy. Well, that didn't work. Son of a bitch.
Let's go to another one.
Here, let's go to Africa. You know,
fight that one. Nope.
Yes. Yep.
One punch. Crap.
Damn it. Shit. We're running out of things. Don't worry, we're going to really make it up in the third act when we have motorcycle chases. The big white guy is going to punch a woman in the face. It's going to be awesome. The audience is going to love it. I have no idea why we're not going to make our budget back.
Go, Godzilla.
Yes, we're going to have Sum 41 play as Zilla is stomped. It's going to be great.
They should have redone that song.
They should have.
When did that song come out?
The Blue Oyster Cult song?
The 70s?
The 70s,
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. Like, there's a guy, Professor of Rock. He talked to Blue.
The Professor of Rock.
Yeah, he on YouTube. Check out his channel. He's awesome. Speaking of sighting people, there you go. And he was talking to the Blue Oyster Cult, and they were talking about, because he was talking about that song, and at the time the lead singer was saying, "Look, man, we were poor, musicians, and we would just like watch cheesy old movies and." We loved watching Godzilla, how cheesy it was and how fun it was. So we just decided to make a song about it. And it just kind of was a hit, and that song is so complicated because there's some parts that are kind of popish and have a little punk beat to it. And it's just really cool. So I strongly encourage you guys to check out Professor Rock's interview with him.
I just thought that song was a joke when I first heard it when I was little.
But like, it's so darn catchy.
No, it is. And I didn't think it was by the same people who did the other song. So I just thought that was weird. Because they sound different to me.
Yep.
Boy, we've been doing this too long. But no.
Look out, Tokyo.
And but here's the thing. Okay, so when the movie ended, how did you feel?
Relieved. No, honestly,
well, that's
though,
because you drink a lot of water.
No,
it was a lot.
It was. So as I've gotten older, there's certain movies and shows now that kind of make me anxious, and this was borderline that. It was just so much going on compared to the other movie that I had just watched. It was like an overload for me.
Okay, compared to 54.
Yeah, because here I am just all I have in that movie is Godzilla. And like now I have like 7 other people that I didn't know other than Mothra that are all like.
Well, with you not being a Godzilla fan, what did you think of the other characters? Because you haven't watched all of them. Did you think they were kind of cool, or was it just like watching Power Rangers?
Yes, I'm getting that. Well, it was very similar to Power Rangers to me.
Well, where do you think they got the idea from?
Super Sentai.
Sure. But so I told you I liked Mothra, and I know the 3-headed one, Gogeta.
Ghidorah.
No, Gogeta. What are you saying?
Ghidorah.
I know,
or Ghidorah. Depends on how you want to say it.
It's just like Godzilla.
What was? Sorry, I'm looking at the poster. What was this one?
I gotta get my.
What is that one?
Grandpa needs his reading glasses.
I can't.
Hold on, let me see.
Make it out. I'm here with 2 old people that can't see.
Here.
What is this? That purple thing that looks like a crab.
Oh, so my son actually, in the interview with my son, we
didn't listen to that.
Oh yeah.
He mentions them by name because that was one of his favorite ones.
But you don't know the name.
Crabor.
I don't remember. My son does.
Okay. Well, that one creeps me out.
I don't know all their names at all.
Okay.
This thing.
Oh, Rodan?
Yeah.
Rodan.
That looks like a joke dragon to me.
He was created in the Showa era.
Oh, okay. Well,
he has a really cool appearance in King of Monsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then who's this guy?
That is Mega Godzilla.
Oh yeah, Mega Godzilla. I mean, Mecha. Yeah, Mecha. He just looks weird.
Mecha.
But I respect Godzilla for getting on a diet plan and really working out. So
I just got this image of Richard Simmons going, "Hey, Godzilla, we're going to get you fit."
I also thought it was funny that Toho said no to purple spikes on Godzilla's back.
Yeah.
Why?
Because now they're using purple.
No, but why did they say no? They don't like purple?
They didn't like how it looked.
Oh.
They thought maybe it was too much like Prince. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, why does Godzilla need to have purple spikes? Where did the purple come from?
It's just a different look for Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, we don't get to choose the color spikes we have.
Oh, we live in a new world.
It's called production value. Yeah,
it would be better if they could change color like a chameleon.
Ooh, which are lizards.
Exactly.
Chameleon.
Exactly. They should have a movie with him and Reptile from Mortal Kombat. And who else?
Frogger.
Rango.
Yeah. Continue. Keep going.
I'm trying to think.
And the Geico Gecko.
Yes.
How about the WB Frog?
He's not a lizard.
He's an amphibian.
I'm only doing lizards.
Okay. I apologize. You're only doing lizards.
And that's the end of the episode. Once again, we apologize for this happening. Sometimes you just can't control technical problems, and this was one of those times. So everybody have a great night, day, whatever, and remember to keep celebrating cinema even if we have problems doing so with our equipment. Thank you.